marching band kicking off the season in Madison with On Wisconsin. The campus in Madison, Wisconsin is ready. Whether you're a first-time Badger fan or a long-time Badger fan, everybody is excited about the start of the 2012 college football season. BTN Football is presented by John Deere. And today at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the 12th-ranked Badgers taking on the Northern Iowa Panthers. Hi, everybody. Alongside Chris Martin, I'm Kevin Kugler. The 2012 season opens with a lot of optimism in Wisconsin. Back-to-back Rose Bowls, and Chris, they feel great about a third on the offing.
But now they're the hunted, and only 3 teams in Big Ten history have won 3 consecutive titles. Wisconsin's looking to become the 4th.
Well, and they've got a guy to help them along the way. Pretty good back by the name of Monte Ball.
Yeah, he's not bad. I think he is as advertised when you look at Ball, what he can do. And really, he's probably the best back in the country. Maybe Le'Veon Bell would object, but 39 touchdowns last season. It's like he's a pro back playing college football.
Wisconsin got a transfer quarterback last year named Russell Wilson. That worked so well, they went back to the transfer.
Well, the 3rd transfer quarterback to start a season opener under Coach Bielema. He's truly a student of the game, though, Kevin. And I think what won him the job is that he takes care of the football and he makes good decisions. We'll see if he can do that today.
Let's take a look at your Honda Power Sports keys to victory, Chris.
There's no trade secrets here. If you're Wisconsin, get the ball rolling early. Monte is going to try to find the end zone. He can run inside and outside. And then defensively, I think they got to contain the big plays. They got 2 new youngsters back there that aren't battle tested. Can those guys not give up the big pop? For Northern Iowa, they got a young quarterback taking his first snap in this hostile environment. He's got to be sound with the football, have good decision making. And then the big question is, can they hold up early defensively? Can they withstand the onslaught of Wisconsin?
They say that spring is a season of rebirth, not here in Madison, Wisconsin. The fall is where renewal is found, right here at Camp Randall Stadium. Football is back. Jump around with us on BTN next.
Wilson takes the snap, back to throw, looking, flush to his left, sets, throws, deep right side, and it is caught by Duckworth inside the 10 and down to the 7-yard line. High backs, hand off, Monty Ball up the middle to the 5, ball to the end zone, touchdown Wisconsin, and the Badgers take the lead. Wilson drops to a knee, and for the 2nd straight year, the Wisconsin Badgers are headed to Pasadena.
Pasadena the goal once again, and the expectation here in Madison for this Wisconsin squad. They feel like they've got a team that can do it. Brett Bielema told us yesterday he found out what this team was about 2 weeks ago at a scrimmage. There's the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, 60-19 record going into his 7th season, and he found out this team plays ball the way he wants them to play. That's a good thing.
Yeah, especially when you have Monty Ball on your side. And I think when you look at Wisconsin, they expect to win. They expect to win conference championships.
Mark Farley on the other side, the head coach of UNI. Speaking of a guy who's got his team in championship contention every year, one of the best programs in FCS, number 7 in the country this year, number 9 in one of the other polls. This is a team that is a top 10 team, and if you're going to play a team from the former Division I AA, now FCS, may as well play one of the best.
And it's a team that mirrors Wisconsin when you look at how they're built from inside and out, and just from a big picture program perspective. And I can tell you right now, folks, that Coach Bielema has the utmost respect for Mark Farley.
On a beautiful day for football here in Madison, Wisconsin. It was hot yesterday, but 75 degrees today. A little windy, mostly cloudy skies. Those moderate wind gusts. We'll keep an eye on how that might impact the kicking game. Brand new kicking game this year for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And remember that special teams was an epidemic for Wisconsin last season, often giving up big plays and not covering the lanes, getting good returns. So I know that in the offseason, it was a heavy point of emphasis.
Tyler Sievertson is the kicker. Wisconsin won the toss. They elected to receive. That's one of the things Brett Bielema loves to do. He will take the ball to start if they win the toss. Back deep, James White and Jared Abradaris as Sievertson puts the ball on the tee, and we are about ready to get the 2012 college football season started. Boy, does it feel good to have football back.
Yes, it does, and you can just feel the energy in here. They can't wait.
Sievertson, a line drive kick. White from the 2-yard line. White across the 20-yard line, and he's down near the 23-yard line. A 22-yard return, and the tackle made by DeAndre Hall as the quarterback, Danny O'Brien, makes his way out onto the field, and he talked about what his expectations were for this game.
I think I'll be pretty excited. This offseason has been kind of a whirlwind for me, and kind of coming to this point, it's been a long road, and I'll just be really excited and anxious to get out there and run that first play, take my first hit. And, you know, I can't wait to see what Camp Randall's all about firsthand.
Well, he's getting his taste of it right now on first down for the Badgers from the 24-yard line. Monte Ball with the carry, and Ball across the 25 to the 26-yard line. And there is Danny O'Brien, the junior out of Kernersville, North Carolina, graduated Maryland in just a couple of years. Those were the numbers at Maryland, but a little deceiving last year.
Yeah, not gaudy numbers, but when you look at it, I think what Coach Bielema loves is he's good from the neck up. He always puts guys in position to make big plays, and he hasn't shown to make a lot of mistakes. That's what they expect out of their quarterback, and we'll see if he can live up to the billing.
3 receivers into the pattern. Motion from Pedersen into the backfield on second down and 8. And Ball again the carry. A good surge up front from the Panthers. Xavier Williams and Mac O'Brien in the middle of that defensive line as we show you the offense for the Badgers. And it's a big offensive line led by Ricky Wagner over at left tackle, playing at an extremely high level coming into this, his senior season, expected to be a high draft pick at the end of the year. The backs and receivers, Jared Abradaris, what a year he had last year. The only major conference player since '96 with 933 receiving yards, 315 punt return, and 689 kickoff return yards. Very specific in their criteria on that number. Third down and 9 after the loss of 1. O'Brien's first pass is complete and very close to a first down. It's Kenzel Doe with the catch. Jordan Gakey on the tackle, and he just gets the first, a 9-yard gain to the 34-yard line.
And what's great about this route, Kevin, is this is one of the routes that Nick Toon used to run a season ago. So it's nice to see Doe step in there to be the replacement receiver, the outlet, and to find a way to move the chains.
Well, that receiver position, really the biggest question mark outside of what O'Brien would be at quarterback coming into this season. They knew they had Abradaris. There's a lot of youngsters out there at those positions.
You're looking for a complement receiver.
First down and 10 from the 34-yard line. Ball over the right side, breaks one tackle, and Ball down at the 42-yard line. Wellington and Scott combine on the stop. And let's take a look at today's Auto Owners Insurance starting defense and the defensive line. We've already seen the interior show up with Williams and O'Brien stuffing Ball a couple of plays ago. That's your defensive line for the Panthers. And then behind them, the linebackers, Sam Tim, Jordan Gakey, Max Busher, the linebackers for the Panthers. And the secondary is where the experience is, and they need their safeties, Wellington and Scott, who had that last tackle, to play big today. Second down and a yard from the 43-yard line. Ball again with the carry. He's got the first down. And ball out to the 48-yard line. A pickup of 5 as Max Busher in there on the stop. Well, if you're looking for Eastern Kentucky Purdue, go to btn.com/gamefinder right now to see where you can find your game.
Kevin, I'm going to give you some buzzwords to kind of watch throughout the game for this Wisconsin offense. And it starts with balance and ball control, and then also ball security. I think it's important to note early that this was one of the most prolific offenses in Big Ten history a season ago. Obviously a different guy at the trigger, but they love to stay balanced.
James White in now as the single setback behind O'Brien, who will throw. Quick 3-step drop, pass out into the flat. Jordan Frederick with the catch, and Jordan Frederick with a good gain all the way down to the Panther 34-yard line. A pickup of 19. Garrett Scott on the tackle. Panthers gambled a little bit there, Chris.
Well, they did. The gamble almost paid off. They saw the route unfold. It went right to the sticks. Frederick does a nice job. You're going to see at the right side of your screen, you'll see the first down marker does a good job of making that his destination point. A good job of converting right there, and a nice play by Danny O'Brien to put the ball in the numbers.
7th play of this opening drive for the Badgers from the 33-yard line of the Panthers on first down. White, the tailback, he gets the carry. Trying to bounce to the outside, but a good job again by the Panthers of stringing it out. And a gain of only about half a yard is all. Panthers really in there to swarm.
When you look at James White, he's a talented player in his own right. Obviously, Monte Ball gets a lot of the ink and the hype, but this kid is a special player as well. He has all the tools to break the big runs, so you will see him peppered in quite frequently in this ballgame.
2nd down and 10 from the 33-yard line. Monte Ball back in, Abradaris in motion. O'Brien on the roll. Throws on the run. There's Abradaris with his first catch, and he's tripped up near the 27-yard line. Jared Abradaris, who had 55 catches last season, gets his first of the 2012 campaign in a gain of 7.
Kevin, a lot of times you hear the coaches say we want to stay on schedule, and what that means is on first down they really want to pick up chunks of yardage so that when they get in a 3rd down, a la right here, it's 3rd and manageable. That'll be important for O'Brien to keep his team and offense ahead of the sticks.
3rd down and 3 from the 26 of Northern Iowa. Ball to carry. Ball pushing forward, and I don't think he got there. Wilmot Wellington, the free safety, came up and threw him down a yard shy of the first.
And that is no easy task when you can take on a back in the hole like White, who can make a series of moves. Watch the jump cut right there, and then they make him go lateral, and that's the big thing to stop him from getting the first down. They get Wisconsin to go laterally. Now it's 4th and short.
4th down and a yard, and Brett Bielema's going to go.
And why wouldn't you? You average 300 across the board. You're at home. Make a statement early.
Cadigan and Ball behind O'Brien. Motion coming from Pedersen. And on 4th down and short, Ball to carry, and Ball just gets the first down to the 23-yard line. He didn't get much more than he needed, but he got enough as Garrett Scott in there to make the stop and a first down for Wisconsin.
And one of the things that we have to watch is the battle inside. And we talked about in the open holding up early in the keys. I think that'll be the matchup, is that when you look at Northern Iowa, they're a little smaller in terms of their size and measurables. And when you look at Wisconsin, they have big, large, massive guys up front. So can Northern Iowa hold up in the trenches?
Abradaris and Frederick to the top of your screen. 7 runs, 3 passes on the 10 plays. This is the 11th of the drive, and the give up the middle, and a big hole and near a first down. Just a burst up the middle for Monte Ball. The tackle combined between Sam Tim and Wilmot Wellington.
And if there's any question of what the identity of Wisconsin's going to be with the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, coming over, who's historically a spread guy, is we see Wisconsin's doing what they do best, and that's running between the tackles, getting downhill.
Well, Matt Canada's not going to mess with a good thing, and that's a pretty good thing. That running offense from a year ago, and everybody back, save a couple of new faces on the offensive line, clearing the road. 2nd down and a yard. Wisconsin driving to the 13 of the Panthers. Ball tripped up, though, in the backfield, and he'll fall back behind the 15-yard line. Sam Tim with the penetration, but that defensive line did a good job, Chris, of blowing back that Wisconsin offensive line.
And shooting the gaps and being able to get in between. How do you beat large, massive guys? You do it with speed. And that time, just the quicks up front. Great job by Northern Iowa making penetration in the backfield. Running backs hate making moves in the backfield. Good job by the Panthers.
That Panther defensive line goes against a pretty good size offensive line in practice.
Great observation. 300 plus on average. Talented is Wisconsin, but they do go against the size.
3rd down and 3. O'Brien to throw. Over the middle, catch is made, and no, incomplete. He dropped it. At the 10-yard line, it slipped through the hands of Brian Wozniak. Jake Farley, the son of the head coach, in there to make sure it stayed out when Wozniak bobbled it.
Interesting play call. When you look at Wozniak, he's more of the hand down into the line tight end, not the move guy like Pedersen. Surprised that Pedersen wouldn't have been in on that play. Certainly has the better hands of the two.
Not going to go for it on 4th and 3 as Kyle French, the sophomore kicker, comes on for a 32-yard try. Good snap, good hold, and French's first kick of the season is good. So a long march for Wisconsin, but Northern Iowa stiffens in the red zone, and the Badgers content to take the 3-0 lead. Madison, Wisconsin with a 3-0 lead, 7:19 remaining in the first quarter. Our scoring drive brought to you by Speedway, 14 plays, 61 yards, 735. Good things for both teams. Wisconsin has a nice march, but Northern Iowa stiffened a little bit and held them to the field goal.
Don't kid yourself. It was a win for Northern Iowa to keep Wisconsin out of the end zone, but Wisconsin doing what they do best, just getting chunks of yardage. 14 plays, 61 yards, and then showing the balance also. We mentioned the buzzwords. I mean, they love to eat the clock, and why wouldn't you? 2 talented backs. But this is what I want to see. This is where they sort of struggled, especially in the big moments in the big games last season. Lane integrity, not allowing the returners to find a crease.
French's kickoff. Anderson back out. It hits the pylon and goes into the end zone for the touchback. Northern Iowa's offense coming onto the field. And our sideline reports today brought to you by Best Buy. Our sideline reporter, the 3rd man of our crew. Let's welcome in Jay Wilson.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks very much. Well, Camp Randall Stadium was built in 1917, but it's come a long way since then. Now, over the offseason, the stadium had some major improvements, starting literally from the ground up. This is a brand new field turf surface. The last one lasted about 10 years, so it certainly was time for a new carpet. The other big changes around the stadium include a tribute to the teams of football history on the east side facing of the suites. Big Ten championships, retired numbers honored there. In addition to the LED boards the length of the field for stats, scores, and tweets. And the UW also trumpets the fact there are now twice as many paper towel dispensers in their restrooms that there were before. Big improvements, Kevin.
Well, that last one, the biggest key. I mean, if you need paper towels, you don't want to look around for them. Thank goodness they got that fixed. On the first play, you saw the flag thrown, and we'll get the chance to hear from our officiating crew for the first time.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 97, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Dennis Lipsky, a veteran of the Big Ten Conference. The call on Brendan Kelly, and Rhett Bielema perplexed.
And he's saying, what? But clearly you can see it right in the middle of the screen. A lot of hand play inside. That's a good call by the officials.
Dan Kruger was the guy who got up close and personal with Brendan Kelly. So out to the 40-yard line goes Northern Iowa. Sawyer Colmorgan in his first career start. What a place for it. Throws the quick screen, looking for a blocker. And a gain out near the 45-yard line for Brett Lamaster. As we take a look at Sawyer Colmorgan, the freshman out of Jenks, Oklahoma. Jenks High School is a big-time program, and Mark Farley likes the fact that he's been in some big high school games.
Well, he knows that he's not afraid of the big moment, and you would hope that you have that in a quarterback who's taking his first snap of his career, live snap, in here at Camp Randall. So it's not too big for him, the environment, the hostility, and so far he looks pretty composed.
2nd down and 5, throwing again, and it's nearly intercepted. Went right through the hands of the veteran Mike Taylor, who almost had the pick, and if he pulls that in, he might be running for a long time.
And I'm kind of laughing because every time you give a guy props, you almost eat the words.
Let's take a look at the offensive starters for UNI. Along that offensive line, Kruger and Palangi are the veterans. Kruger in his second year as a starter. Palangi, the center, in his third season as a starter. That's a big line, averaging over 300 pounds. Backs and receivers, Carlos Anderson won a battle in camp with David Johnson for the starting running back spot. 3rd down and 5 from the 45. Under pressure, ball is loose, and it's covered up by Northern Iowa. Bo Allen got there and ripped the ball out of the hands of Sawyer Colmorgan. Fortunately for Northern Iowa, Tim Sauer was there to cover it up.
And when we talked to Coach Bielema, he raved about Bo Allen. I mean, you see the pressure coming off the edge by Borland. It forces the quarterback to step up. And a good job of fighting and competing by Allen. The front four of Wisconsin making a statement early.
Kyle Bernard to punt it away, back deep. Jared Abrederis. Good punt. Abrederis backs up to the 6-yard line. To the 10. He's got talent across the 15. A flag is down as Abrederis gets out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Wes Smith on the stop for Northern Iowa, but the flag thrown on the way up the field. This one may put Wisconsin in a bit of a hole.
And it's pretty typical of the first game. You got a lot of nerves. Players very anxious on both sides. Need to kind of settle in, stay composed. No lack of discipline and unnecessary penalties.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 32 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
That'll put the ball inside the 5-yard line. You'll see the block here. Wisconsin up 3-0, starting deep in their own end. BTN Football is presented by John Deere, the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. Now the Wisconsin State Capitol in Madison. A lot of folks hanging around that building yesterday afternoon, just waiting for the chance to move a little bit into town and get to Camp Randall Stadium to kick off the college football season. A 3-0 lead for the Badgers, but after the penalty on the return, Wisconsin starting deep in their own end. Monte Ball, the lone setback on 1st down from the 5-yard line. Ball up the middle, and Ball tripped up across the 10 to the 11-yard line. Tackled by Garrett Scott. Monte Ball, who's got a laundry list of records that he can break this year, but our Twitter poll today, will Monte Ball break the NCAA record for touchdowns? Tweet btn.com/connect the choices. #28 yes, #28 no, and #28 maybe.
Interesting question.
Don't answer maybe. Make a decision. One or the other, yes or no.
Someone will figure that one out.
Toss play the ball. Going to the outside, and Monte Ball very close to a 1st down at the 15. Sam Tim, the outside backer for the Panthers, leading the charge. Garrett Scott coming up to help out from his safety spot.
You know, I went back and watched some of the games from last year on Wisconsin, and the one thing with Monte Ball is he cut down on his weight. He lost some pounds, but he maintained his power, and so he can push the pile. He can run between the tackles and carry tacklers. And he showed it right there. He can get that tough yardage.
What a great running back conference this has the potential to be this year. We saw Le'Veon Bell last night. He wasn't bad. Rex Burkhead at Nebraska. Monte Ball here as he gets the carry again and jumping over tacklers for a couple to the 17-yard line. Wilmot Wellington in there to make the stop. But this conference, just a load of so much great offensive talent. It's going to be fun to watch all year long.
And it's a pride thing for Wisconsin because they know that running the football and power football is who and what they are and probably what they'll always be. And so for the offensive line, it becomes infectious getting the running game going early. They want to block inside, and then that bleeds over to the running backs who look for those creases to hit.
Motion from Pedersen on 2nd down and 8 from the 17. Toss play to Ball, the 12th carry of the ball game for Ball. Good blockers out front, and Ball's got a 1st down. Out to the 27-yard line. A gain of nearly 10 on the play. Jordan Gakey on the tackle for Northern Iowa, and had a nice convoy out front as he swept around the left side.
And if you're Northern Iowa, you got to play with good leverage and outside leverage. I mean, you got to force this ball carrier back inside. All the help is coming from the inside on its pursuit. You can't let it get outside on the perimeter. But that time, Monte Ball doing a nice job of really running with his eyes, seeing that daylight outside and hitting it.
Ball will get a breather as James White comes in Abradaris in motion on 1st down and 10 from the 27. O'Brien on the roll, throws short to Abradaris, who juggles it and makes the catch despite the fact that Varma Sony was on his hip. That was dangerous as Sony tried to get a hand on that. No gain on the play.
And one of the best traits about Abradaris is his ability to go pluck the football and bring it in. I mean, great concentration. Defensive back couldn't have played it any better, but just tremendous concentration and seeing the ball all the way in by Abradaris.
Well, if you're a defensive back, and I know you are, you feel pretty good about seeing that ball pop up in the air, don't you?
Tight coverage. I would have felt better if I'd have broken it up and gotten a pick. But
from the 27, 2nd and 10. White the carry, and White muscling his way out near the 30-yard line. A pickup of 3, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 7. And I've been impressed by that middle of the Northern Iowa defensive line, Chris. Xavier Williams in there on the stop again. They've got a nice push.
They're not getting pushed around, and they're holding up at the point of attack. And these guys are in tremendous shape. And as we mentioned and alluded to early, they go up against the 300-pound line every day in practice in their own line. So they know they have to play with strength and toughness.
Well, Coach Farley told us they had to handle the line of scrimmage on defense in order to even have a chance in this game. 3rd and 7 from the 30. O'Brien, nobody open. Can he make a play with his feet? Yes, he can. His receiver slips down as Kenzel Doe tried to make the grab, but he lost his footing on this new turf. And a turnover on downs is coming as the Badgers will punt it away.
And you think Coach Farley loves that? What a great stand by Northern Iowa. That time, O'Brien had nowhere to go with the football. Everyone was covered up. He got flushed out. Big stop on money down, forcing now a punt for Wisconsin.
Carlos Anderson back deep, awaiting the punt from freshman Drew Meyer. Another guy that Brett Bielema just raves about in the special teams game. He was a top-ranked punter in the country as a high school senior. Red-shirted last year, and he's been booming it in practice all fall. Got some carry on this one on a line drive punt from the 27-yard line. Across the 30 and Anderson to the 35. Here comes a flag thrown at the very end of the run by Anderson. Tackle by Zuliger as the Badgers will now await the word from our officials.
Officials been busy early, getting a lot of cardio work in.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 23 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul. 1st down.
Zach Cutcomb called for the foul. That'll move the Panthers back. They trail Wisconsin 3-0.
2nd and 7 for Purdue. Michigan 32-yard line.
Oh, and the lateral down the sidelines, Tardy to the end zone, touchdown! What a call! What a play!
One of the great moments over the last 5 years here on BTN. We've had so many of them. That one in 2008. These fans are hoping we don't get any of those moments today. They would prefer this not to be a moment on BTN.
Look out. This is a tough team that's played in a lot of hostile environments.
On 1st down from the 19, David Johnson, the carry. Mike Taylor with the tackle. And let's take a look at today's Auto Owners Insurance starting defense for the Wisconsin Badgers, and it's a very good defense. Up front, David Gilbert, after the injury last year, back in that defensive line. Linebackers, Borland and Taylor. Just monster seasons combined for 293 tackles a year ago. And Devin Smith, another guy, back in the secondary after an injury from a year ago. 2nd and 8 from the 21. Terrell Sinkfield breaking into the clear, and Sinkfield with a 1st down to the 36-yard line. A pickup of 15 for Terrell Sinkfield before Marcus Cromartie could get there to make the stop.
The one thing that Northern Iowa does extremely well is they give you multiple formations. They do a lot of motion. And so as the defensive coordinator, Chris Ash, said, they put a lot of stress on your defense just with their alignment. So expect the linebackers of Wisconsin to be awfully busy today.
1st down from the 36-yard line. Up the middle, Anderson with a nice gain to the 41. A pickup of 5 for Carlos Anderson. He's the speed back Anderson and Johnson. Johnson's the power, but Anderson's a great sprinter. He was the Valley 60-meter dash champion a year ago.
And speed is just something that you can't teach. You saw a little flash of it there with Carlos Anderson, able to jump, cut, and get outside to pick up some yardage. And right now, if you're Coach Farley, you have to love what you're seeing on both sides of the ball.
Certainly holding your own in this first quarter. To the right side, nice catch along the sidelines by Sinkfield on the high throw from Cole Morgan. He gets 5 yards, an acrobatic catch.
Probably their best wide receiver. Sinkfield known for making the big play. We saw it a couple plays ago. Now watch him pluck the ball out of the air. Big, strong hands. Watch him pull it down and land with it. That shows you the strength in his hands. Great job, great body control. And there's no confidence issues with the Panthers. I mean, they believe that they can come in here and have success against Wisconsin.
First down. And nowhere to go this time. In fact, a loss of about 1.5 yards. Great job by Ethan Armstrong. He's the unsung linebacker, but Brett Bielema believes people will be singing his praises before too long.
Well, and when you have two others that are studs like Borland and Taylor, it does open it up for Ethan Armstrong. When you look at Borland and Taylor, two of the best linebackers in college football.
Good first quarter here in Madison. The Badgers with a 3-0 lead over the Panthers from Northern Iowa. Iowa stiffens in the red zone. Madison as we get set for the start of the second quarter. A 3-0 advantage for Wisconsin over Northern Iowa with Chris Martin and Jay Wilson. I'm Kevin Kugler. And you see the two head coaches, both walk-ons to their respective schools, and very similar guys in nature, in demeanor, and in their teams.
Carbon copies. I mean, they're really wired the same way, and it shows in their team.
Johnson the carry on 2nd and 11 to start the quarter, and he's out to midfield. Marcus Cromartie in there to help out on the tackle. Mark Farley in his 12th year at UNI. Brett Bielema starting his 7th season at the helm of the Wisconsin Badgers. And you talk about two guys who have a ton of respect for each other. You get the feeling that if they weren't opposing coaches today, they might be calling each other just to talk about the game of football.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at it, just guys that run their programs the right way. They don't cut corners. They look for character. And they do things the way you're supposed to do them.
3rd down and 6. Cole Morgan to throw. In trouble. Gets away. Cole Morgan on the run. Throws on the run, and it's incomplete. Devin Smith downfield on the coverage, but the pressure forcing Cole Morgan to throw on the run, and he almost made the play with his feet, but a good job from Wisconsin in the back end and up front.
And Cole Morgan showing you that he has good presence and feel in the pocket. Kevin, one of the hardest things there is to do for a young quarterback is feel the pressure. Typically, they have to see it with their eyes. You can tell that he has good feel, good awareness. Not a bad play right there. Should have been caught by his receiver, in fact.
Jared Abbrederis inside the 10-yard line awaiting the punt from Kyle Bernard. Bernard trying to pin them deep as Abbrederis fields at the 14-yard line. Dodges through a couple of tacklers, but then is buried at the 16-yard line. Wisconsin has the 3-0 lead. The Badgers coming back to work on offense early second quarter. Wisconsin leading 3-0 in the season opener. It's a season opener for a lot of players on both sides, but it's also the season opener for 6 new assistant coaches, a remodeled and redone staff at Wisconsin.
You talk about a coaching overhaul, and it takes a while to get assimilated into the program, especially with the players just vibing with the different personalities.
They ran 3 different mock games over the course of the fall just to get these guys all ready for what they expect, but it's always a little different when it is game day. On the end around, Abbrederis trying to get to the outside, and a good open field tackle made by Zach Cutkop, the linebacker, who wasn't fooled at all, did a good job to wrap up a slippery runner.
Nice fast flow to the football. You're going to watch him, Abbrederis coming in motion, but a good job of sniffing this out and making a play. Let's go back to the coaching overhaul here at Wisconsin. We talked to Coach Bielema about losing so many coaches like Paul Chryst, the head coaching job. And we said, how does that make you feel? And I quote, he said, I'm not a hater. Those guys had great opportunities. Why wouldn't I want them to go succeed?
It's hard to argue with some of the opportunities those guys got. Good protection as Abradaris makes the catch over the middle, and Abradaris trying to break free. Ball pops out at the end of the play, and it's covered up by Wisconsin at the 26-yard line. Sony and Gakey combine on the stop, but a good job by the center, who's used to having the ball in his hands. Travis Frederick got there to cover it up a yard behind the sticks.
And this is a team not used to putting the ball in the carpet. And this is a surprise. Abradaris here, you got to have ball security. He switches arms to put the ball in the outside arm. Good job of stripping it out. He tries to make a cutback. And what I like that time, the defensive back did what we call tackling the football, put his helmet right on the ball to pop it loose.
Third down and a yard. Monte Ball to carry over the right side, and Ball with a first down and much more. The tackle by Garrett Scott, but a 6-yard gain on 3rd and 1, and Wisconsin has the first down.
I think it's worth noting for Wisconsin fans that they did lose 14 starters from a season ago, 7 on the offensive side of the ball. So it just takes some time to get cranked up. Now, saying that, last year was the most prolific offense in this school's history. So you think it's a matter of time till the avalanche starts.
From the 31-yard line, Pedersen motioning in the backfield. And on first down, James White the carry. White to the outside. White with some running room. And White across midfield into Panther territory at the 49. Wilmot Wellington finally caught up with James White, but number 20 rumbles for 20 and a first down.
James White from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, able to get outside on the perimeter. And he's a good complementary back. You know, he sees that it's clogged up, but he has the quickness to get the edge and the speed to do so. Good job of getting extra yardage after contact and moving the chains for the Badgers.
First time today we've seen this, Chris. We've got Ball and White both on the field at the same time, each lining up now in the slot. From the 49, 1st and 10, O'Brien to throw, and the catch on the right side by Monte Ball, and he's out of bounds at the 42-yard line, a pickup of 7. BTN goes where you want, when you want it, with BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch every football game on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. BTN to go is available at no extra charge to subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Also available in the App Store and on Google Play.
Oh, Kevin, what I like, you're seeing Matt Canada's effect on this offense. He has a spread background in history. Both running backs in the slot.
Second straight time we've seen this. O'Brien throwing over the middle, and a good job by Garrett Scott stepping in front of James White to knock that ball down and bring up 3rd down. That's one of those veterans that Mark Farley talked about, had to play big in his secondary. Garrett Scott, a starter in every game last year, showing that veteran leadership.
Excellent job of making a play when it had to be made. But this is where they're going to go back to power football. They're going to get their backs in the back and just come downhill. No more spread. That spread's going to go away here. Let's get Monty Ball involved.
Badgers 2 for 5 on 3rd down this afternoon. A 3rd and 3 from the 42-yard line. Ball to the right of O'Brien. He's going to throw on 3rd down. Throws to Ball. Ball on the outside. Bounces off one tackler, and he's down at the 34-yard line. Jake Farley finished him off. J.J. Swain tried to tackle him. I say tried because Ball was not about to let one corner bring him down.
No, he's a physical runner, and I think that often gets overlooked when you talk about his game. He's got power, even though he lost weight. Good job of lowering the shoulder. Saw a lot of that when studying the tape on Ball. He runs with a purpose, rarely tackled by the first defender.
Another different formation for this Wisconsin squad as White gets the carry over the right side, slips one tackle, and White down to the 30-yard line. Mac O'Brien finished him off. He broke through the Jordan Gakey tackle and got inside the 30. A pickup of 5 yards on 1st down.
And Wisconsin's just saying up front, if you're going to let us line up and come downhill, we will take the chunk yardage and hope that we can wear down your defense, and then you'll be susceptible to the big play.
Another long drive. This is the 9th play of the drive. Earlier had a 14-play scoring drive that resulted in the field goal. Play action, O'Brien on the roll. Catch is made by Derek Watt. The freshman fullback, J.J. Swain, on the stop, but a first down for Wisconsin. And Badger fans recognize that name in a Badger uniform, the last name of Watt.
Yeah, another guy's not doing too bad down there for the Texans. J.J. Watt, stud here at Wisconsin, now representing. We talked to Coach Bielema about Watt, the fullback, and I said every year there's a guy that you put your thumb on that you expect to be sort of off the radar coming in, but that could have a huge year, and Derek Watt was one of those guys.
Good start for O'Brien, 8 for 11 in the passing game, and a timeout taken by Northern Iowa from the sidelines. There was something out there that they saw that they did not like, and Mark Farley not afraid to use the timeout defensively. 9:32 left first half, 3-0 Badgers.
Simple. It's just to be myself every day and be the guy that I am. I think if you get caught up in trying to win people over, you can come across as, not genuine. So I just came in and did what I did at Maryland. I played early, so I kind of got thrown into the fire there. I just came in and worked really hard, didn't really say a whole lot, and you got to earn their respect, and that came, I think, ultimately in camp.
And that'll continue as he progresses on through his Wisconsin career. It was a tight battle between O'Brien, Phillips, and Stavi in that quarterback race. From the 23 on first down, 10th play of the drive, Monte Ball trying to get to the corner, and Ball lunging forward, gets near the 20-yard line. A pickup of 3, pretty well strung out by the Northern Iowa defense. Garrett Scott in there along with Barmasoni to finish things off.
Yeah, it was strung out well, but what you want to see the corner do is leverage the outside. You got to force that ball back inside to the help and keep that outside position. That's where the pursuit's coming from.
Monte Ball, 1,923 yards a year ago, 14 carries, 55 yards so far in this first half. 2nd down and 7 for the Badgers. O'Brien, quick toss to Abradaris, and a great open field tackle at the 25-yard line. What a job done by J.J. Swain to fight off the block and make the play. A loss of 4.
And you won't see a better play made by a cornerback, folks. I mean, just being able to knife this play to come underneath the block and get to Abradaris, that is outstanding. Great instincts and an even better tackle in open field.
It's not like he was tackling some slouch there. That's a guy who's been able to get free a lot against some big-time corners.
And with a lot of room to work with.
3rd down and 11 after the loss on the play, back at the 25-yard line. O'Brien to throw. Steps up, a lot of room to run. O'Brien to the 20, and he steps out of bounds at the 18-yard line and then tumbles forward as he tried to maybe coax a little bit of yellow out there, but all is fine as far as Northern Iowa is concerned. They've stopped Wisconsin on 3rd down and long.
I think the crowd was looking for the flag there, but a good no call by the officials. But again, if you're Coach Farley, Northern Iowa, you like the way your defense responds and holding up, keeping Wisconsin, who averaged 44 points a game last year, out of the end zone.
35-yard try now for the sophomore kicker, Kyle French. And French's kick plenty long and right down the middle. And French doubles the score with 7:37 remaining in the first half. The Badgers march it down the field. 6-0 Wisconsin. Luckily, I changed. That's exactly what I was wearing on my way to the stadium today. No shirt in that Badger hat. This October, the creators of BTN's award-winning original series, The Journey, will launch the show that will give fans an unprecedented look at the student athletes and coaches as they battle through the season. The Journey, Big Ten Football 2012, presented by Best Buy, premieres October 3rd on BTN. Chris Martin, I don't know about you, but I cannot wait for that to start. I loved the basketball journey last year.
Well, it's all about access, and I think that's what makes that show so great.
Our scoring drive brought to you by Speedway. 13 plays, 66 yards, 6:28 on the drive. But again, Northern Iowa figured out a way to get the stop and force the field goal.
And I remind you that this is a team that put up so many points and touchdowns a season ago.
Anderson well back in the end zone. He'll field that, and the touchback will bring it out to the 25-yard line, and that's where Northern Iowa will start First down and 10. Sawyer Cole-Morgan, the freshman, how would you rate his day so far in this first start of his career?
You know, I thought he's been solid in terms of his decision making. He hasn't made bad decisions. He hasn't put his team in harrowing positions, and you have a chance to win when you can do that. There's no doubt that the Panthers' philosophy is to keep this game close going in late into the fourth quarter, and hopefully you have a chance to win it. But when we talked to Mark Farley yesterday, we said, Coach, what do you got to do to win this game? He said, number one, we got to win up front, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And number two, quarterback Cole-Morgan's got to be good with the football.
Carlos Anderson, the lone setback. Sam Rohr, the tight end, now into the backfield. On first down, play action. Cole-Morgan in trouble, breaks away, throws it short. Anderson now goes forward and has good gain out to the 30-yard line. A pickup of nearly 5. They'll mark him close to the 31. Desmond Southward made the tackle. I'm not sure what direction that play was going to start, but they got positive yardage.
And at least it wasn't a sack. So you look at Cole-Morgan and you recognize that this kid is playing bigger than the moment. He's not fazed by this crowd. He's not fazed by the defense. He's staying in with good command of the offense.
That yardage number, though, much in favor of Wisconsin, is on the sweep, trying to find some room to run and nowhere to go at all. Mike Taylor, the reason why. Just nothing doing, and it'll bring up third down.
Well, we know that Taylor's a guy that accounted for 150 tackles a season ago, and so he's going to go sideline to sideline. That's what he does best. So Wisconsin's at his finest as this crowd uproars here when those linebackers can run through clean air, not get held up with the blockers, and get to the football. Two of the best in Borland and Taylor at going sideline to sideline.
Third down and 6 after the loss of 2 on the play. Cole-Morgan throwing to the left side, and it's incomplete. His receiver, Brett LeMaster, kept running upfield. Cole-Morgan got rid of that football, and Northern Iowa still unable to convert on third down.
Two things. Cole-Morgan wanted to avoid a sack, and he also wanted his receiver to break off the route sooner. He felt the leakage coming from the right side, knew he had to get rid of the ball, just miscommunication with his target. Now Wisconsin's going to have some good field position with Jared Aberderis back deep to receive.
Kyle Bernard to punt. And a wobbly short punt by Bernard out of bounds. You talked about good field position. How about great field position for Wisconsin? A short field for this Badger offense to work, leading 6-0 with 6:18 remaining in the first half in Madison. Madison, Wisconsin. You're late for the game. Hurry. 6-0 Wisconsin with the lead. 6-8. She's really late. 6:18 remaining in this second quarter.
She's going somewhere to watch the game. Look at the adjustments being made on the sideline.
Game one for everybody. Still a learning curve and improvement expected as O'Brien on first down throws it short. Watt with the catch, and Watt into Panther territory, knocked out of bounds at the 45 by Wilmot Wellington. And a pickup of 8 on first down for Wisconsin.
And right now we see a lot of check down routes. They're not letting their quarterback take chances down the field. I mean, they're allowing O'Brien to establish himself and get into the feel of the game. Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, certainly not challenging the defensive backs vertically as of yet with their offensive scheme.
Second down and 2. Monte Ball over the left side. First down to the 41-yard line. A 4-yard pickup. Sony with the tackle for Northern Iowa.
When you watch Monte Ball, one of the best things that he does and has is his vision. Because that time he looked to bounce the ball up sooner, but really nothing was there. So he put his foot in the ground to get outside, and that's how he was able to pick up the first down.
From the 41-yard line, Monte Ball, the tailback, in the I formation. Play action for O'Brien. Pressure comes late, and O'Brien is sacked. Tim Clark, the senior defensive end, who had just 9 tackles a year ago, gets the first Panther sack.
Just disruption up front. Great job of getting to the quarterback, Coming off the left side, you see Monte Ball. He's got to be a little stronger inside on that block. Credit the coverage down the field. And what wins this play is the fact that it's hard to go hard play action when you really haven't established the run game. So there's no bite by the defenders. It causes your quarterback to hold the ball longer, and that's how you pick up a sack.
Pedersen motioning on the right side, 2nd and 18. Trying to find running room, but nothing there. Monte Ball thrown for a loss. Zach Cutcomb got into the backfield, and this crowd getting a little restless here in Madison.
And they should, because this defense is playing at a high level. They don't read the press clippings. Maybe they do, but they know all the ink that Ball gets, that this offense gets, this offensive line, and right now they're punching back.
November 6th, 2010 at Purdue, the last time Wisconsin went an entire half without scoring at least one touchdown. And they've got a 3rd and 22 with 4 minutes left in the first half here.
Not a whole lot of plays designed to pick this up.
Oh, I know Matt Canada's a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he's got that in the playbook. We'll see. O'Brien, lots of time, throwing over the middle. Maybe he does have a 3rd and 22. Pedersen with the catch, and he's got the first down. We apologize to Matt Canada. There's the 3rd and 22 play, and it got 22 yards.
But it's the first time he's really taken a challenge to this defense. And if you are going to go to your guy, you want to go to Jacob Pedersen. He's the move tight end. Great hands. Another superstar tight end for Wisconsin. And you think O'Brien likes it?
Danny O'Brien's fired up. Big 3rd down conversion, and now 1st down and 10 from the Panther 31-yard line. And now Ball can go back to work again. Monte Ball to the outside, dragging tacklers with him down to the 27-yard line. Wilmot Wellington was the guy who got the free ride for a couple of yards there to pick up a 4.
This guy's flying all around the field today. Playing physically, getting to the football, getting off blocks.
Well, Mark Farley told us those safeties had to make plays, and we've said Garrett Scott and certainly Wilmot Wellington a lot today. Big in run support for this Panther defense. 2nd and 6 from the 27. There's Ball again, spinning to the outside and down at the 25-yard line. Zach Cutcomb on the tackle, a pickup of 2.
Good pursuit, Wisconsin. Once again, eating up the clock, winning the time of possession. Keeping Northern Iowa's offense off the field, sustaining long drives. Everything that's in their DNA, except for the fact that they haven't been able to get in the end zone. As we get close to 2 minutes, we'll see if they can do that.
They're 4 for 8 today on 3rd down. Another long drive. This is the 8th play of this drive. 3rd and 4 at the 25-yard line. O'Brien on 3rd down to Ball. Ball into the clear, and Ball down with a 1st down at the 11-yard line. A 14-yard pickup for Monte Ball.
You mentioned the safeties for Northern Iowa, but when your safeties are making every tackle, that is not a good sign, because the running back's getting to the 2nd layer before he's even touched. And it's hard enough to stop Monte Ball. You don't want to have to make a living doing it every play if you're a safety.
Pedersen in motion. 1st down and 10 from the 11. Ball again to the left side, and not much room there. Maybe a yard for Monte Ball. Tackle made by Jordan Gakey. Stay tuned at the half. The Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report is straight ahead. A very busy day. Some surprising scores across the Big Ten Conference. And they'll have all the action for you coming up in the Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report.
We're going to see if Wisconsin right here, if they're going to stay in what I call their big boy formation, where they have that fullback, they're just looking to power between the tackles and say, look, we're bigger and stronger than you, and try and move it with their star tailback.
They've struggled doing that at times today, surprisingly.
And give credit to Northern Iowa, because they've been pretty physical as well.
Emptying out the backfield now as Ball splits out to the outside, and Northern Iowa says, we don't know what this is. Let's take a timeout and talk it over. 2nd timeout taken by the Panthers in this first half. This one comes with 54 seconds remaining in the half. Wisconsin knocking on the door, trying to punch one in right before halftime, leading 6-0. Kevin Kugler, Chris Martin, and Jay Wilson on the sidelines. A 6-0 lead for Wisconsin. 2nd down and 9 from the 10-yard line for an offense that's used to scoring a lot of points. 6 looks like a small number at this point in the ball game.
And on 2nd down with no running backs. Interesting play call. No running backs in the backfield, that is.
Ball split out wide to the left side. O'Brien looking that direction. Pressure coming. Abradaris is open. He's got it for the touchdown. Jared Abradaris. 10-yard touchdown pass from Danny O'Brien. And Wisconsin has a 12-0 lead.
Wisconsin did a great job of isolating one-on-one coverage. Abradaris, study the scouting reports. You know he's a detailed route runner. Does a good job of climbing on the defensive back and finding the corner of the end zone for Wisconsin.
And the extra point by Kyle French is good. It took nearly a half, but Wisconsin finally able to find the end zone thanks to a guy who did it 8 times last year, Jared Abradaris, and Danny O'Brien with his first Wisconsin touchdown pass.
And what you want to do is you really want to try to step on the defender's toes, climb up on top of him. It's isolation coverage. He snaps off the route. Defensive back gets out of phase. You're going to see it right in the slot. Now, this is tough duty for a safety or anybody on Abradaris. One-on-one in the slot. Excellent throw. Good ball placement. There's that touchdown the fans have been waiting for.
His 12th career touchdown reception. That moves him into a tie with Michael Jones, who played here in the early 80s, for 10th all-time in Wisconsin lore. And Danny O'Brien feeling very good. The Speedway scoring drive, 10 plays, 53 yards, 5:28 off the clock. We've seen some long scoring drives from this Wisconsin squad today, but that's the first that resulted in a touchdown.
O'Brien's got to be feeling very good. I mean, the first one's always the hardest one. He gets that off of his back.
French to kick it off. And that will sail through the end zone. And out of bounds, it'll be a touchback to the 25-yard line. Our Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report. Just 49 seconds away here in Madison, Wisconsin. A full day of college football to run down in the conference and around the country. And the gang will handle all of that for you coming up in just a little bit. Always exciting to see finally those scores scrolling by, and you see a lot of surprises already on the first weekend of college football.
I'll tell you what's so exciting to see for Big Ten fans is big games early. I mean, there's some tough matchups and really a chance for the Big Ten to show as a conference that they have the arrow pointed in the upward direction. I think that's what a lot of fans want to see, particularly when you compare them with a conference like the SEC.
My partner was a little nervous earlier today with the alma mater having some ups and downs.
Cardiac cats are back at Northwestern, I guess.
Motion coming across from Phil Wright. And on first down, the give up the middle. And David Johnson with the carry to the 33-yard line. Time for our United States Marine Corps leader of the game. Today's United States Marine Corps leader of the game is Shelton Johnson. Look at that GPA, 2-time academic All-Big Ten and a nominee for the All-State Good Works team. The senior out of Carrollton, Texas, one of the captains of that Badger defense.
Love to see guys doing it on and off the field.
2nd down and 2. David Johnson looking for the sticks, and he's going to end up a yard shy as the clock runs under 10 seconds to go in this first half. And Northern Iowa may be content to just get this one into the locker room, and they are. They are not going to snap it again. Halftime is here in Madison, Wisconsin. A slow start for the Badgers, but a late touchdown has Wisconsin up 13-0 as they head to the locker room.
And winning the time of possession, showing that they can methodically work the ball down the field. But you
Madison, Wisconsin, the state capital, where the Badgers have a 13-0 lead over Northern Iowa here at halftime. Alongside Chris Martin, I'm Kevin Kugler. Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half. And no surprise, Monte Ball shouldered some of the burden early.
Well, no doubt. It's been a conservative but crafty playing. When you look at it, Monte Ball has come in, heavy dose of him early. I think what we're seeing offensively is it's sort of a dating process between the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, who's new, and his quarterback, Danny O'Brien, trying to get him comfortable, see what he can do, what his presence like on the field, and then allow him to pick his spots. A lot of rollout passes. He finds Aberdaris in the end zone. So they're getting a feel for each other right now, and that offense is getting cranked up. But they can hurt you in a hurry. Expect to see that in the second half.
You've got to imagine that both coaches in the locker room right now have some good things to say to each of their teams.
And on both sides of the ball, when you look at it offensively for Northern Iowa, they played well. They haven't turned the ball over. Defensively, they're playing strong. If they can continue to get stops, maybe create some turnovers to get more opportunities, maybe that offense can punch it in. But that offense for Northern Iowa has got to crank it up and get going, or else the avalanche can start from Wisconsin.
The big question is how? How do they get it going against a very good Wisconsin defense?
I think they're going to have to open up the pass game. I mean, they're trying to establish the run. Of course, you can't pass if you can't run it. And so I think they're going to stay on schedule, try and be better on first and second down, and then be able to take their shots down the field when the opportunities are there. But they got to win in the trenches. I think that's what Wisconsin's doing. They're winning at the line of scrimmage with that defensive line, making it tough for the Panthers.
Time to check our 5-hour energy first half stats. And in the first half, you see the dominance statistically. 205 total yards to 47 for Northern Iowa. Don't know that you really expected the balance from Wisconsin like that.
Well, remember the buzzwords were balance and ball control, and you see it both in the time of possession, 23 minutes to 6 minutes. That's not going to work. It's not an ingredient for success for the Panthers, so they got to get off the field. They cannot let Wisconsin dictate. They got to stop them on third downs, get the offense more chances.
Now, Wisconsin has done it all but put a lot of points on the board. Still, at halftime at Camp Randall, Wisconsin holds the 13-0 lead over Northern Iowa. BTN Football is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. In this moment, who has your back? Protect what matters most with an Auto Owners Insurance independent agent. Find yours at AutoOwnersInsurance.com. Madison, Wisconsin, getting ready for the start of the second half. Wisconsin with a 13-0 lead over Northern Iowa. Before we start the second half, though, Jay Wilson's down on the sidelines with Brett Bielema.
Thanks, Kevin. Brett, the defense shuts them out in the first half, so that's a good thing. Offensively, it seemed like they got a little more rhythm as the half went on.
It did. You know, we had 46 plays, I think, offensively to their 15. That's what we like. That's what we like at Wisconsin. That's our formula. So we got to keep doing the same things. We got to be successful on second down to get us in more manageable third downs. A couple times there, got ourselves in trouble. Huge conversion with Ped, but we got to be able to convert touchdowns in the red zone.
And Danny O'Brien getting a little more comfortable, too.
You know, he does a nice job. He took off. You can see he does some things with his legs. We just got to get real more settled and make ourselves better.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. Danny O'Brien warming up for this second half. He'll have to wait a little bit. Northern Iowa is going to get the opportunity to have the football first. It's time for today's Quicken Loans quarterback comparison.
Well, you see both quarterbacks really trying to get in rhythm and get a flow for the game, get comfortable in the offensive tack. You want to see Cole Morgan take some more chances, but keep in mind he's a redshirt freshman, so he's trying to keep the offense out of trouble, but expect him to be more aggressive. Both quarterbacks can be more aggressive in this half.
A good look at both of the new quarterbacks for these respective teams, and regardless of what happens today, Mark Farley's squad is going to take a lot of experience from this, and in 2 weeks they've got a second Big Ten team, and that's a game that means a lot to the kids on that roster. There's a lot more Iowa recruits than there are Wisconsin State recruits on that UNI roster. They play the Hawkeyes in 2 weeks. That's right now, you might have to put Iowa on upset alert on that one if Northern Iowa can maintain this kind of level.
Yeah, good observation. You point out a good tidbit when you look at Northern Iowa. They don't get a lot of guys out of the state of Wisconsin, which is ironic. I think there's less than 5 on the team right now. But what I like about them is that they play in big stadiums, hostile environments. They go to Iowa State, played at Iowa, played at BYU. So, I mean, they're not intimidated. I think they showed that in the first half. We'll see if they can step it up here.
That's a big credit to the walk-on program that was established here under Barry Alvarez and has been continued under Brett Bielema. They keep a lot of those guys away from schools like Northern Iowa. Deep kickoff again through the end zone. Any questions about the kickoff ability of Wisconsin? They've been answered so far today. Touchback after touchback.
It helps when you move the ball up to the 35-yard line. One of the rule changes this year. And if you have a strong leg with a lot of pop, I mean, you can put the ball in the back and give away a souvenir.
Well, the new rules, you see him putting the ball at the 25-yard line. That's, of course, another one of the new rules in this one. We've not seen the helmet rule come into play in this game yet. We've already seen it in games over the weekend. If you lose your helmet, not at the impetus of a defensive player, you're out for one game. On first down, the give to Carlos Anderson. And Carlos Anderson gains nothing. That's because Brendan Kelly was right there to swallow him up at the 25.
And if we talk about the rules just for a second, I'm in complete agreement with the safety rules, because I think it speaks to the vigilance, particularly on special teams and kickoff cover. I think the one that's going to be interesting, though, is the helmet rule. I mean, because when you look at it, you saw the game with Michigan State last night, a lot of helmets popping off. You get your star players that have to go out for a play. That could have a big impact.
On second down, Cole Morgan airing it out and missing everybody. His receiver had cut off his route. Terrell Sinkfield kind of curled in, Chris, and instead Cole Morgan went long.
And that's youth. I mean, when you talk about the quarterback, and that play, let's not get it twisted, was designed to keep Wisconsin on their toes. And so whether it works or not, you want the fear of threat that they could go down the field with the football to hopefully loosen up that underneath coverage, the interior routes.
Panthers 0 for 3 today on third down, and they've got a 3rd and 10 at the 25-yard line. Cole Morgan out of the gun. Pressure coming. Hit as he throws, and it is almost intercepted at the 35-yard line. Shelton Johnson with the diving attempt at the interception. Pressure coming first from Bo Allen and then from Chris Borland.
Well, the pressure just collapsed the pocket. And you're going to see it. It's just a nice twist inside by Borland. He comes right up the gut. And that time, Cole Morgan had nowhere to go with the football. Good penetration. Big, strong press by Bo Allen. Teaming up.
And that Badger D doing what they wanted, the 3 and out. And now the punt, much better punt than we saw earlier from Kyle Bernard, driving Abradaris to the 25-yard line. Abradaris trying to find some running room. Cuts it back across the 35, and Jared Abradaris, just an example of how dangerous he can be. Mark him at the 40-yard line. The tackle by John Hubbard, and a good return from Jared Abradaris. Good field position for the Badgers as they start their second half at the 40-yard line. For an inside look at the Badgers, subscribe to Varsity, the free weekly digital magazine, or shop for apparel at Bucky's Locker Room, available at uwbadgers.com, part of the Big Ten Digital Network. Bucky's excited about his squad, up 13-0. Just underway in this third quarter. First possession of the second half for Wisconsin. Good field position at the 40-yard line. The fake to White and the give to Ball, and Ball picks up about 3, maybe 4, as he falls forward in the arms of Jordan Gakey. Monte Ball to the 43-yard line, and a 2nd and 7 coming for the Badgers.
Kevin, what I wonder right now is at what point does Matt Canada become anxious and want to take a shot down the field? I mean, because when you look at Wisconsin, I mean, last year they scored 28 times in 5 plays or less in a drive. So they love the big hit, too. That is who they are to the core. But right now we're seeing them sustain with the ball control, but expect to see a shot down the field.
On 2nd and 7, O'Brien, quick drop, lots of time, throws short, and it's dropped by Derek Watt. Freshman mistake, started to turn upfield before he tucked that one away.
Very common. You start to turn that head around to go upfield, and you take your eyes off the ball at the last second. Seems so pedestrian, so routine. And that's who Coach Bielema was talking about. He had his thumb on to have a big season. Just a mental mistake.
Well, they had a fight over that kid. He was on the defensive side first. Then the offensive coaches were able to bring him over to the offensive side. Both sides love the potential of Derek Watt, the younger brother, of course, of former Badger superstar, now Houston Texan J.J. Watt. Pressure coming, dumps it off to Ball. Ball with a block and room to run. Monte Ball just tripped up near the 40-yard line. Jake Farley with maybe a touchdown-saving trip, because Monte Ball was about to get that second gear into acceleration.
Well, what I love there is that getting out on the perimeter. You're going to see we're going to be able to get out here to make the block. That's Havenstein, and what I love is that he free releases, shows some athleticism. That's a big man making a big block on a cornerback. That springs this thing loose, and when you look at it, Monte Ball, good balance, catch the ball out the backfield, but it starts with the blocking up front. Very athletic offensive line.
16-yard gain. Here's White with the carry on the outside. Tackle made by J.J. Swain, as James White picks up a couple down to the 38-yard line. And there's a look at big Rob Havenstein, a guy that Brett Bielema says is maybe as gifted as any lineman he's ever had. 6'8", 342 pounds. That's like two of you and me.
And what we saw, maybe most importantly, is that he's able to get out on the perimeter and get second level and do the things that athletic tackles can do.
Yeah, a big man that can move like that. Remarkable. White the carry again, slips through a tackle in the backfield. James White with a first down to the 30-yard line. Garrett Scott finished him off, but he slipped through the tackle of Zach Cutcomb, who had a shot at him in the backfield, and he got the first down.
It's interesting when you talk about Wisconsin line, they have just been a pure factory in terms of their offensive line. Left side, you got Ricky Wagner. I mean, he's as good as any tackle in the country. And it always seems that they have another guy sitting right behind their best guy, and that could be Havenstein. I mean, this is just a factory for offensive linemen, which is why they're so coveted at the next level.
And why they've got such great running backs, in part because they've got those guys up front to clear the road. Play action. O'Brien all day to throw over the middle. Catch at the 15-yard line, and down to the 10 goes Jordan Frederick, the freshman out of Madison, Wisconsin. A 20-yard gain and a first down.
Rhythm, timing, and getting comfortable in the pocket. Good job of O'Brien. Watch him just stand tall in the pocket. He's going to survey the field, allow the route to open up. Good protection up front. Gives him a nice throwing lane.
Well, early Northern Iowa may have been holding their own in that offensive line, defensive line battle. Wisconsin's starting to flex that muscle now.
They wear you down up front with those road graders.
Monte Ball, big hole up the middle. Ball inside the 5 and down at the 1-yard line. Almost the touchdown from Monte Ball. 9-yard gain, and he's 1 yard shy of pay dirt.
And it starts inside out. As you mentioned, the offensive line doing a nice job of moving bodies. What I like about Ball, though, is how he always seems to fall forward, pick up extra yardage. Fullback in the game. This is just power football.
Second and goal from the 1. O'Brien to Ball. Ball to the right side, leaning for the goal line. He's in for the touchdown. Another touchdown for Monte Ball. Now a touchdown in the last 21 Badger football games.
And give credit to his guys up front, as Monte Ball would. A humble kid, great character, hard worker, but he'll be the first to tell you that offensive line has paved the way for him in leading the charge for that offense.
French's try for extra point. It's blocked. A low kick. It was a high snap. The kick was low, and Northern Iowa gets some penetration and gets the block and holds it at 19-0. And it looked like Xavier Williams on the inside might have gotten his hand on that one and blocked it for the Panthers. Monte Ball into the end zone. He had 33 rushing touchdowns last year. So far, one of what will likely be many. 19-0 Badgers. Monte Ball puts it in the end zone this year. Bucky gets a workout. He's going all the way up the stairs to plant the flag. Think he'll be wearing a groove in those steps, Chris, over the course of this season?
I think he's going to be busting out of that sweater.
You have to dress Bucky in something cooler. At the pace that Monte Ball goes, our Speedway scoring drive, 8 plays, 60 yards, 3:39 off the clock, and the 1 yard touchdown run for Monte Ball.
Panthers have to fire back here. I mean, this is a critical point in the game. They have to match the momentum of Wisconsin to slow them down.
Here's Anderson from the 4. Anderson across the 20 to the 21-yard line. And with that touchdown for Monte Ball, continues his climb up the touchdown charts. Monte Ball now in Big Ten annals taking aim at, well, one of the all-time greats here in Wisconsin history, Ron Dane, and look at Montee Ball knocking on the door. What do you call your shot?
He's making
Will he get there? Will he reach Mount Ron?
He's got a chance with this offensive line. He's got a chance. That's an awfully high climb, though.
On first down, Cole Morgan sets to throw, looking deep down the right sideline. Carlos Anderson, the intended receiver, and he overthrew him, and Cole Morgan took a pop as he got rid of that football. Brendan Kelly providing the pressure.
Kevin, the other problem you have when you keep going 3 and out if you're Northern Iowa is it really doesn't allow your defense to rest at all. And when they're coming out, it's hard enough to stop these guys when you're going full tilt and you can cut it loose. But when you're winded, it just makes it even tougher. Even if Northern Iowa can just methodically sustain a drive and give that defense some time to recover.
Second down and 10. Wisconsin was moving around. They got back. On second down, not much room to run for David Johnson. Maybe a yard to the 22-yard line. Bo Allen on the stop. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 9 as we slide under 10 minutes to go, 3rd quarter.
And what's making it difficult is they're not picking up yardage on 1st and 2nd down. So they're getting behind the sticks. And then you put yourself really in an unmanageable 3rd down situation, or at least a very difficult one, especially for a redshirt freshman quarterback.
3rd down and 9 from the 22. Cole Morgan under pressure again, dumps it to Johnson. Nice little move by Johnson to get to the 30-yard line, but he's about a yard shy of the 1st down, and it'll bring up 4th down for the Panthers.
If they're a yard short, if it's me, I'm going for it here. I mean, you're down by 19. You're trying to create some adrenaline. Your defense is exhausted. You got to take a chance. I just think it's that critical juncture where this thing could pop open. I know it's tough when you have a young quarterback, but sometimes you got to take that risk.
Kyle Bernard on to punt, though, and no risk being taken here by Mark Farley. 4th down and a yard. Good punt by Bernard under some pressure. Here's Abradaris from the 23. And Abradaris brought down immediately. Terrific coverage by Wes Smith. What a job he did to get downfield, made a nice tackle.
The one thing that the Panthers are very sound. I mean, they haven't necessarily missed a lot of tackles. They play with good technique. They play with good leverage. And most importantly, they play with tremendous effort. They're just a scrappy, gutty team. Obviously going up against a very talented Badger team, but they're not backing down. Here they need to get a critical stop and see if they can get 3 and out.
1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line. Danny O'Brien with White the single setback. Abradaris in motion. White the carry, and White buried for a loss. Knifing in. 2 different players. You had J.J. Swain and Max Busher. Both came into the backfield untouched to throw White for the loss. We asked you earlier on Twitter, will Montee Ball break the NCAA record for touchdowns? 82% of you think yes, he will. And 10% of you, despite our protestations, voted maybe.
And I would most certainly agree with him. You look at what he did last year, 39 touchdowns. With a very formidable offensive line, you have to expect that.
Here's White on 2nd down. Oh, look at White run all the way out to the 28-yard line. 10-yard scamper for James White. Garrett Scott with the tackle. And they're the career touchdown leaders in FBS history. Travis Prentice and Ricky Williams. There's Montee Ball just inching up the list. And this is all touchdowns.
And look who he's tied with, Marshall Faulk.
That guy turned out all right.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad.
But you look at the fact that Montee Ball does a nice job receiving out of the backfield. You see what he did last year. If he has even an average season, he's going to end up as the all-time touchdown leader in FBS history. And on 3rd down and 2, Montee Ball is not going to get the 1st down. That's because Garrett Scott was there, the senior from Davenport, Iowa. Made a nice tackle at the 29.
And I love what the Panthers are doing. They're just knifing off of the edge. They're getting help from their corners and safeties and run support, coming unblocked, unabated, and making a big play.
Well, it's a talented FBS team, or FCS team, I should say, and Northern Iowa is going to give fits to teams at their level throughout the course of the season. Good punt, a lot of hang time. Fair catch called for and made by Carlos Anderson near the 25-yard line. The first 3 and out of the day for the Badger offense. Panthers get it back down 19-0.
And Mitch Ewald can win the trophy for Indiana from 31. Got it! Indiana wins! And the bucket will be going to Bloomington.
Another great moment in BTN history. And you may wonder, gosh, why are we showing you Matt Canada? Well, he was an integral part of that Indiana victory a couple of years ago. He was the offensive coordinator for the Hoosiers. On first down, Anderson the carry to the outside and really nowhere to go. David Gilbert, another guy that Badger coaches were raving about yesterday. Gilbert makes the stop.
Well, when you look at the Panthers on offense, they haven't gone past midfield the entire day. And so if you're going to come in here and expect to match the intensity of the Badgers, you have to be more aggressive and take some chances at some point. I know it's a conservative playbook, but that's the only way you're going to put yourself in position.
On second down, Cole Morgan finds Sinkfield. Sinkfield with a first down out across the 35. Southward and Smith combined on the stop. A nice play from Cole Morgan to Sinkfield to move the chains.
And Sinkfield's their best player. I mean, he's the one that's made a splash that catches your eye. He gets outside. He can work the individual cuts on the backside. He's made some terrific catches today. So he must continue to be targeted. And at some point, you just want somebody to make a big play if you're Northern Iowa.
Only the 4th first down of the day for UNI. And the give to Anderson. And Anderson on the left side to the 39-yard line. Mike Taylor in there to make the stop. Chris Borland also unstacking himself from that pile. Not a surprise to see Taylor and Borland involved in a stop. 293 combined tackles a year ago for the top 2 tacklers in the Big Ten Conference.
Tackling machines. Different personalities, different demeanors. Taylor a little more quiet. Borland's super outgoing. Both tremendous athletes, though. When you look at that, almost 300 tackles collectively between the two of them. That is just unbelievable. And part of the principle of their defense is to allow the offensive linemen to be covered up so that they can run freely.
David Johnson in some trouble on the outside. Slips through a couple of tackles and maybe picks up 2 near the 41-yard line. Ball popped out at the end, but everybody says it was down, and most importantly, the gentlemen in the striped shirts say so. So it'll bring up a 3rd down.
The one thing with Borland is he plays the game with tremendous instincts, and you watch him, he has good feel, and those are the things that you just can't coach up. He just sort of sifts and sorts his way through the blocks, and then he gets to the tackler. Just great instinct, anticipation, and understanding by design what the defense is trying to do.
Crowd trying to rally the defense here. 3rd and 4 from the 41 for Northern Iowa. Pressure coming over the middle. Catch is made and a first down across midfield and into Badger territory. For the first time today, Chad Owens crosses midfield. Chris Borland on the stop. A 10-yard gain and a Panther first down.
And really just sort of a screen. You allow that defense, it's very aggressive, to get up the field. Then you shoot the shallow crosser. Nice job of Cole Morgan. Good with his eyes. Gets that ball right in front of the linebacker. Borland comes off late. Pick up a first down.
From the Badger 49, 1st and 10. Cole Morgan, another completion and another first down inside the 35 of Wisconsin and down near the 33-yard line. Good strong throw from Cole Morgan, who found Sinkfield again. Taylor and Smith there for the stop. But another first down, and by far the most impressive possession offensively so far for Northern Iowa.
And by far a good diagnosis of the defense. Looking at it, understanding they're in zone coverage, Wisconsin, and just allowing his receiver to sit down underneath and put the ball spot on. Momentum coming for this offense of the Panthers.
On first down and 10. Up the middle, Anderson stumbling forward. His knee dropped near the line of scrimmage. About a half yard is all for Anderson. And there's a look at Mark Farley on your right and the quarterback Sawyer Cole Morgan on the left. Farley's trying to coax his youngster, and talk about growing up. What an atmosphere to grow up in today for Sawyer Cole Morgan.
Trial by fire. but you have to like that he's showing some moxie, showing some guts. He's not afraid.
Second down. Cole Morgan throws to the right side, and that's incomplete. He wanted his tight end, Sam Rohr. Pretty good coverage from Marcus Cromartie behind Rohr, and it's third down.
And that's the rub, I guess, if you're Northern Iowa, is that you want to expand the playbook, but you still recognize that you have a young quarterback that's really not battle-tested, particularly in the games. And so you don't want to ask him to do something that he simply can't do. So you see them working underneath cuts. You see them being more simplistic. And they're just trying to let him slowly gain some confidence and then maybe take a chance.
Chris, you were asking for it earlier. The offense doing what they needed to do. Ninth play of the drive here. That defense getting a good breather. But they've got to do something productivity-wise on 3rd and 10 for the 33. Cole Morgan on the run. Cole Morgan going to try to scramble for it. He's shoved out near the 27-yard line. That's well short of the first down. A 6-yard gain on the play. Mike Taylor going across to chase down the quarterback. And it's 4th down and 4 now. Is this where Mark Farley rolls the dice, or do you try a field goal to give your team a little bit of a feel-good moment?
It's going to show how much confidence you have in your field goal kicker. I mean, you talked about the win factor earlier, and I think there's some consternation on the part of Coach Farley.
Well, timeout's called by Northern Iowa. Tyler Sievertson came out on the field, but Sawyer Cole Morgan didn't leave.
Hey, Sievertson's the real deal, that kicker now. He could nail it.
What will happen on 4th down? We'll see what Northern Iowa does in just a moment on BTN. 19-0 Wisconsin, 2:45 remaining in third. Badger fans anticipating A, a win, and B, anticipating jump around, which is coming. But right now they're anticipating their defense getting a stop, because Northern Iowa is going to go on 4th down and 4 from the 27-yard line. Cole Morgan throwing over the middle, floats it up, his tight end's got it. LeMaster all the way down to the 6-yard line, and it's 1st and goal for Northern Iowa. Brett LeMaster leaping up into the air and pulls it down, and it's 1st and goal.
Love the decision, love the play call even more. All this is a little seam route over the middle. It's a tight end. Great job of going up and making a play. But watch how the quarterback stands in the pocket. He knows he's going to get hit. He feels the leakage coming, but he stands tall, takes the hit by Bo Allen, and throws a strike.
Now on 1st and goal, the Wildcat formation. It's Anderson on the keep, and he burrows down to the 3-yard line. Southward on the tackle for Wisconsin. 2nd and goal from the 3. Haven't seen the Wildcat all day.
Well, we know that Northern Iowa likes to give you different looks. You know, they have an expanded playbook, a lot of formations, multiple offense really. Spread you out, they'll come in with 2 backs. But now they need to just punch this thing in the end zone.
And now it'll be Johnson who will run it out of the Wildcat. Anderson a moment ago. Johnson takes the snap. He'll keep, and Johnson tripped up by Chris Borland at the 2-yard line, and it's 3rd down. Do you like going Wildcat in this scenario back-to-back when you haven't run it all day?
I just think the linebackers are so talented for Wisconsin. I'd really try and get them out of there. I mean, either spread it out, allow your quarterback's pretty athletic, maybe a design draw play, but the linebackers of Wisconsin, they run so well, so you need to get them out, create a little space so that you can perhaps find a crease, because they're just too stout in the interior. Now this crowd's imploring that defense to stand up and get a stop. And this is what I'm talking about. I love that they're spreading this out here.
Cole Morgan on 3rd and goal from the 2. Floats it to the back of the end zone. It's caught by Owens for the touchdown. Chad Owens leaping up and pulls it in for 6, and UNI, with their most impressive drive of the day, is on the board.
And the best finish with a quarterback who's growing up right before our eyes. Good drive down the field, excellent execution, great play call by the offensive coordinator.
And now Sievertson on for the extra point. And his kick is good. And with 52 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, it's a 12-point ball game here in Madison.
And it's a confidence builder for that offense, driving on a tough defense and coming away with points. We got a great game here.
Kevin Kugler, Chris Martin, Northern Iowa had more yards on that drive, 75, than they had the entire game, and they capped it with his 2-yard touchdown pass.
And they were able to get conversions on 3rd down, but that time just isolation coverage. That's a winnable set. But look at the quarterback, good ball placement, throws it away from the defender. Receiver does a nice job of catching the ball outside of his frame.
White from the 2. White across the 20, landed a little awkwardly at the 21-yard line. And it's first down for the Badgers after that Speedway scoring drive. And what a drive. 13 plays, 75 yards, 6:02 off the clock. That is impressive. Going against a team that was one of the best scoring defenses that Wisconsin's ever had last season. They marched it right down the field on them.
Oh, yeah, and it's duly noted that they have some holes in the defense that they're replacing, particularly on the back end. A couple inexperienced guys, but this is a team that's scrappy, Northern Iowa. They'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere, and they're showing us that now.
From the 21-yard line, first down and 10. Danny O'Brien on first down gives to Monte Ball. And Ball across the 25. And is wrapped up by Zach Petcomp at the 27-yard line. The crowd getting ready to jump around. That'll be with you and us in a little bit. I know you'll be jumping.
Well, are your ankles taped up? You spatted?
I'm spatted. I'm always spatted for a broadcast.
Right over the dress shoe, right?
Yeah, well, you know, I've got to go with the black spatting to go over the black dress shoe.
But look,
I want to put myself and my best foot literally forward for this broadcast, spatted and all. 2nd and 4 from the 27-yard line. Ball to carry. Ball to the outside, tripped up, but he kept his balance. Nice balance by Monte Ball, and he gets close to the first down, just shy of the 31. Jake Farley on the stop. We have reached the end of the 3rd quarter. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll return you to Madison so you can jump around as well. Through 3, Wisconsin 19, Northern Iowa 7. Kevin Kugler, Chris Martin, Jay Wilson with us down on the sidelines. Wisconsin with a 19-7 lead as we get ready to start the 4th quarter here in Madison, Wisconsin. The first touchdown of the day from Monte Ball. Planted that flag from Bucky. Now this crowd getting ready for jump around. One of the great traditions that's been developed in college football. And I've tied a rope actually to this table because this press box we're in, it shakes when they do the jump around. It's frightening.
And you gotta love it. I mean, if that doesn't get the adrenaline going, no matter who you are, a little house of pain.
And here it goes. And there is the shaking. Yeah, I love college football.
Just the spirit, the passion.
Third down and short, and the sneak from Danny O'Brien, and that should be enough, and it is for the first down. Third and short must be the happiest down to be in for a quarterback behind that offensive line here at Wisconsin. Those guys up front, third and short's a gimme punt.
And it doesn't hurt when you're 6'3", 230 pounds like O'Brien. All you got to do is fall forward and find a crease. Everybody was asking me as I prepare for this game this week, what's the difference between, when you look at what Russell Wilson did a year ago, and this guy's going to be his own player. Russell Wilson is starting for the Seattle Seahawks. He is a tremendously special talent. This kid will develop and come into his own, but don't expect him to be Russell Wilson.
O'Brien goes short. Catch is made. Tackle is made just across the 35-yard line, and that's Brian Wozniak. And that is the first completion that Brian Wozniak has had in his Wisconsin career. He's battled injury after injury, but he has now finally caught a pass in his Wisconsin career. Good for him.
And for a guy that does a lot of blocking, that's what you want to get, at least one reception. I mean, he's the inline tight end, the guy that's hands always in the ground. Nice to see him throw him a bone.
Monte Ball caught in the backfield and thrown for a loss. And again, purple and white shirts getting into the backfield. This time, big defensive lineman along with Zach Cutcomb, but Breon Creer, freshman defensive lineman, in that backfield, the loss of 3.
And this may be the most critical play of today's game. When you look at, they're backed up, Wisconsin, what are they going to go to? You got some momentum shifting here. This defense has gone toe-to-toe, battled and played with great effort. See if they can convert.
3rd down and 9 from the 33-yard line. O'Brien over the middle, catch is made. Kenzel Doe, first down across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Wellington on the stop. You mentioned Doe earlier, taking over those middle-of-the-field crossing routes from Toon, and he picks up another catch there on the same pattern.
Yeah, just a zone beater route. You're going to see it come across. And this is what Nick Toon did run last season, a lot of crossing routes. Doe doing a nice job of finding the hole. Good job with the eye discipline by the quarterback to sort of look off the defense. Excellent execution by the Badgers.
It's bravery when you're 5'8", 170, and you're running across the middle like that, too. Doe's got some courage on 1st down. Play action. O'Brien with time. Going deep. Abradaris wide open. He's got it inside the 5 and a touchdown. 53 yards from O'Brien to Abradaris, and Wisconsin leads it 25-7.
The great offensive coordinators, they always run a play looking to set up the next play. And when you look at the series of play call by Matt Canada, they were just waiting for the right spot to take their shot down the field. They get the safety to bite up. And boy, Abradaris running by himself.
Extra point from Kyle French is good. 5 catches, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns for Jared Abradaris, and a 26-7 lead from Wisconsin.
Well, we talked about picking your spots at the right time. Look at that. Ball fake, stand tall in the pocket, gets to the end zone. And you think Danny O'Brien's enjoying that? Deep ball. Look at that, folks. The Badgers with a big strike.
This 6-yard line. That was a huge tackle for Desmond Southward. If he doesn't make that tackle, Anderson's got nothing but green space in front of him.
He's still running, and he probably would have ended up at that W in the end zone.
Well, it's time now for today's Verizon Key Connection. And how about the quarterback and the star wide receiver? Danny O'Brien's numbers look awfully good. So do Jared Abradaris's. Not a bad day for either of those two.
And I think when you study Abradaris, he doesn't look as fast on tape than he actually is. And so for the defensive back, it's almost like adjusting your eye level. You know, he's sneaky fast. He can get up on you in a hurry, evidenced by that last touchdown.
From the 26 on 1st down. Up the middle, Carlos Anderson across the 30 to the 31, a pickup of 5. Great to have you with us today in Madison, Wisconsin on BTN, alongside my partner Chris Martin. Jay Wilson with us down on the sidelines. I'm Kevin Kugler. It has been I guess you could say, a workmanlike performance today for Wisconsin. They wanted to see what they'd look like against another team, and they've seen so far what they look like, and as they've gotten more comfortable, we've seen more and more out of Danny O'Brien today.
Yeah, kind of the old scratch and sniff test. I mean, they're replacing 14 guys from a year ago, so you really get to see what your players are made of.
Boy, a terrific catch made by David Johnson. He was blanketed in coverage, somehow got that ball on a first down to the 44, an 18-yard gain, and that was outstanding.
And this is what we call throwing a receiver open. Just put it up there and let your receiver go make a play. Good job of high pointing the football and bringing it in. And that's what you want to do. Just put it out there. Let your big receiver go make a play on the ball.
That's a great catch by a guy who's spending most of his time right there at running back. 1st and 10 from the 44-yard line. Cole Morgan under pressure, in trouble, and he throws it away. Oh, that pressure from David Gilbert right on top of Sawyer Colmorgan. And it's 2nd and 10.
You know, you look at David Johnson, he is a running back, but he had 800 yards running and 400 receiving, so he has the positional versatility that you'll look for him in the pass game.
Now, he's only one of 3 guys in the FCS who had 800 yards rushing or more, 400 yards receiving or more. And in fact, as a freshman last year, was 4th in voting for the Jerry Rice Award for the top freshman at the FCS level.
That's saying something.
Anytime your name's with Jerry Rice, it's saying something. And there he is again. Johnson, after that blitz opened things up. Johnson down the sideline, still on his feet, and he'll take it all the way in for 6. Borland and Southward tried to bring him down, but they could not. 56 yards later, Johnson hit Pater.
And you want to talk about making a big play on a big stage? Johnson that time outflanking the defense, but really just running with toughness. And here, if you're Wisconsin, and this will have Brett Bielema irked, you can't give this up. Right there, just knock him out of bounds. Get him out of bounds and live to see another day. You cannot let a bad play get worse and let it get into the end zone.
So Johnson gets past Desmond Southward, a veteran. Then he holds off one of the best tacklers in college football for 15 yards and goes into the end zone.
And that's just knowing that you have to have a big play and someone stepping up to make it. He's earning that scholarship, getting this ball in the end zone. Big touchdown for him.
Wisconsin with the lead. On the Northern Iowa sideline after that touchdown, and the touchdown drive brought to you by Speedway. 4 plays, 74 yards, a minute 13, and David Johnson with the touchdown grab, and then a great run after the catch as the kickoff bounces into the end zone, and the touchback will come out to the 25-yard line. And Chris Martin, this was impressive on a number of fronts.
Well, it's just a wheel route right here. You're going to see Borland. He's got to get outside and run with this wheel route, but he gets sucked inside, and it allows the running back Johnson to get out flank and get outside. See, he's going to shoot inside, and that ball gets up the field. Johnson does a nice job. Now you got to get him on the ground. I mean, you cannot let him get to the end zone. Stop the bleeding on defense.
Well, as he came with that pressure, you could see as the ball got out, he whipped his head around as if to say, uh-oh, something's happening behind me. That's not good.
And he tried to catch up, but just couldn't make up the speed.
1st down and 10 from the 25 for the Badgers. And on 1st down, White the carry, and White ridden out of bounds by Wilmot Wellington. Boy, we called his name a lot today.
Both good and bad, though. I mean, and we talked about this. When you look at Wellington, he's been so physical in the run support, but where that makes you vulnerable is when you go hard play action. We saw the last touchdown to Aberdaris, and that's because this guy's had to make so many tackles in the run game.
Panthers feeling a little confident right now, though. The offense has picked things up a little bit. Maybe a little more interesting than Brett Bielema was hoping for in the 4th quarter. Second down and 9 from the 26. O'Brien to the right side, and a good tackle made across the 30-yard line. Jacob Pedersen brought down by Varma Sony, and about 4.5 yards shy of the 1st down for the Badgers. This Northern Iowa program.
Sorry about that, Kev. When you look at Wisconsin, they use their tight ends more than anyone. Northern Iowa, though, very difficult team to beat. And you see what they've done in the FCS year after year. They're always at the top. But Pedersen's as good as any tight end they've had here in Wisconsin in a long time.
3rd down and 5. O'Brien Little screen set up for Doe, and Doe is buried. Ball and Doe all coming down at about the 27-yard line under a host of Panthers, led by Garrett Scott. The second 3-and-out of the game pitched by the Panther defense, and what a time for it.
Another momentum play for the Panthers. Offensively, they've been able to get touchdowns in the last 2 drives, and they're going to have good field position here. So they're down by 12. This is a shot of adrenaline now to Northern Iowa.
Carlos Anderson awaiting the punt. A low snap, and that almost got blocked. And remember, it's a new punter, new kicker, new special teams for Wisconsin, and they were fortunate. Bursting in there was Phil Wright, who almost got that one, a 35-yard punt. And the Panthers will start at their 38-yard line.
When you look at it, it's going to come right up the gut. The personal protector in the middle, barely getting that one off. Northern Iowa bringing the heat right up the middle. Good extension. Nice job by the punter of clearing the ball.
You want a momentum change. How about a blocked punt inside the 20-yard line? That'd change the tenor of this crowd here at Camp Randall very quickly.
But this defense needs to stand tall here. I mean, they've given up some pops in the last 2 drives. They need to come back and establish their temperament.
Here's Cole Morgan with a 4-man rush. Going deep over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking downfield for Sinkfield, who had a step, but the ball thrown away from him. Well, this October, the creators of BTN's award-winning original series, The Journey, will launch the show that will give fans an unprecedented look at the student athletes and coaches as they battle through the season. The Journey, Big Ten Football 2012, presented by Best Buy, premieres October 3rd on BTN. Excited to see that in just a few weeks. Right now, the journey is Northern Iowa's journey back against Wisconsin. Can the Badgers stiffen here? 2nd and 10 from the 38. Time to throw. Left side open and a first down and more as Brett LeMaster takes it all the way down to the Wisconsin 42-yard line. Ethan Armstrong on the stop. But Chris, are you seeing some confidence building in a young quarterback?
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is good protection up front. He had all the time in the world to stand back in the pocket on that play. Look at his timing. Good job up front, stands there, allows the route to develop. That's a long throw too, so he's showing you some arm strength. But credit the offensive line for giving him the time.
You know, Cole Morgan's numbers have steadily increased. He was struggling early, but has picked up the pace of late as he sets up the screen. It was tipped at the line. Terrific job by Brendan Kelly. Got the hand up on that one. There were blockers out there and ready, but Kelly swatted it down.
And that's what you teach. If you can't get to the quarterback, use your length, get your arms up in the air. That time Northern Iowa, they had Johnson open. They wanted to run a screen right here. Good job of getting the hands up in the air. Bo Allen making a play.
2nd down and 10. Ball at the Badger 42-yard line. Panthers down 26-14. Blitz coming. Cole Morgan airing it downfield, and the pass overthrown. Looking for Chad Owens. Desmond Southwood was running stride for stride with him, and it's 3rd down.
And we see how they sort of opened up that vertical pass game, because they believe that their receivers can do some damage against this secondary. We talked about, you know, some inexperienced guys on the back end for Wisconsin. They're really getting challenged right now by the receivers and the running back of Northern Iowa.
And remember, this is a defense in which every starter has started before. Maybe not a full season as a starter, but every starter has starting experience. 3rd and 10 from the 42. Floats it over the middle. Big tackle made just across the 40 as Sinkfield tried to turn it upfield. Mike Taylor and Devin Smith were right there to greet him, and he had nowhere to go but down.
And that was just a misread by Cole Morgan. That time Wisconsin was playing cover 2, so they had high safeties. They were working an outside corner route. Cole Morgan chose to go with the underneath cut. Couldn't pick up the first.
And now Mark Farley with 7:56 rather to play is going to take a timeout, but the offense was back out on the field on 4th and 7 from the 39-yard line. The Panthers take their 2nd timeout of the 2nd half, and Northern Iowa going to go for it when we return to Madison.
momentarily for the finish of the game between the Badgers and the Panthers. Just want to remind you of what we have coming up here on BTN. It's the post-game show presented by State Farm. As soon as the game is over, complete recap, highlights, analysis, post-game interviews as well. That takes you up to the game between Indiana State and Indiana. Post-game after that, and then the final drive, a wrap-up of the entire day in Big Ten football at midnight Eastern time. Let's go back to Kevin and Chris.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Big fourth down here for the Panthers of Northern Iowa. 4th and 7, ball at the 39 of Wisconsin. Badger defense trying to get this crowd into it. This could be the game right here for the Panthers. On 4th down, Cole Morgan to throw. Got a man open. It is caught at the 31-yard line. Chad Owens got his feet in, and that's a first down.
You talk about field awareness, and that had to be right at the sticks. Just a trips formation. Inside receiver, outside cut, long throw. I mean, right at the sticks. What a big-time play and throw. Nice awareness on the part of the receiver.
That's Chad Owens, who caught a touchdown earlier. A little tap-tap on the sidelines. Now first down. And floating out of the backfield, Johnson's got it! Inside the 5, and he'll score! And Northern Iowa has jumped right back into this ball game. 31 yards from Cole Morgan to Johnson. And the Panthers are within 6.
And the two best defenders for Wisconsin are the guys that gave up the big play. That time it was Mike Taylor. Before it was Chris Borland. It was the exact same play to Johnson on a wheel route. They were out of position. Excellent play call. The Panthers battling back.
Cole Morgan started 3 of 6, Chris, for 27 yards. Since 12 of 20 for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. And Northern Iowa is within 5 points of Wisconsin on the road with 7:24 to play in the 4th quarter. Don't go anywhere. This game much tighter than maybe anyone outside of the folks in purple anticipated. BTN Football is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. By Verizon. Call ** NFL to get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile from Verizon. And by Case IH. Be ready with proven leadership. To learn more, visit caseih.com/4 is greater than 2. The kickoff will bounce into the end zone, and the touchback out to the 25-yard line. And now the pressure has shifted a little bit, hasn't it, Chris, over after that Speedway scoring drive to the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, I'll just tell you who's showing a lot of speed. That's David Johnson, because he's running by 2 of the best linebackers in the country, just getting out of position. Mike Taylor that time slides too far inside. And you can just see Coach feeling him. I mean, he's starting to get a fast heartbeat.
Monte Ball on first down lines up at running back. O'Brien under center from the 25-yard line. Ball the carry on the right side, and no gain on the play. Monte Ball is stood up with Wilmot Wellington making the stop. Look at that, 15 tackles today. He is today's Polaris hardest working player. He's been everywhere.
All over the field. And coming up against arguably the best running back in the country, making plays in the hole, showing some range, but bringing a physicality and a presence for the Panthers.
We had some folks on Twitter saying, guys, you're saying Monte Ball's name wrong. He changed the pronunciation in the offseason. We know he was Monty last year, but now he's Monte.
Exactly.
2nd and 10 from the 25. O'Brien to throw. Quick pass, catch is made. Abradaris knocked out of bounds by Marmasoni at the 31-yard line, a 6-yard gain, and it brings up a huge 3rd down and 4 with 6:25 and counting to play.
It was interesting when we talked to Mark Farley, the head coach for the Panthers. He said we have to match the momentum of Wisconsin. No moment bigger than what we have here.
And can a new quarterback in Danny O'Brien convert again on 3rd down? Empty backfield on 3rd and 4 for the Badgers. O'Brien with all day to throw. Pressure coming from the backside. O'Brien got away, and O'Brien slips down at the 33-yard line, 2 yards short of the 1st down. Sony covered him up, and a 3-and-out thrown by the Panther D.
And you want to talk about coverage? How about coverage on the back end? Completely blanketed. And when you look at O'Brien, he was looking for his safety valve. And that security blanket, that's Pedersen. But he was completely covered. He had nowhere to go with the football. Credit the Panthers.
Anderson awaiting the punt at the 26-yard line. He fields it and is crushed. Terrific coverage for Wisconsin's Shelton Johnson, who buries him at the 25-yard line. But Northern Iowa's second-half offense has been the story here.
Well, and it hasn't been a Picasso painting for the defense of Wisconsin. You know, we talked to defensive coordinator Coach Ash about being alignment. You're seeing some guys that aren't even in the phase or screen for some of these touchdowns, and it's because they're misaligned. So they're losing plays simply from the start. There you go, Mike Taylor in the chase position. They have to be better aligned and more technique conscious.
25-yard line. Sawyer Cole-Morgan, look at that freshman making the move he's made against this defense. Stepping up, going deep, looking for Sinkfield, and he overshot him. Well covered out there. Southward running stride for stride with Sinkfield. And it's 2nd down and 10. First half, 47 yards total offense for the Panthers. Second half, 220.
Well, I don't think this defense got the memo at halftime. Apparently, in the offense of Northern Iowa, they're building confidence. You can just see this Cole-Morgan quarterback here. He feels like he can attack this defense. He's found some cavities over there on the defensive side of the ball, and he's trying to exploit them.
From the 25, 2nd down and 10. Panthers down 5. Cole-Morgan to the outside, incomplete, looking for LeMaster with Devin Smith on coverage. And now it's 3rd and 10. Good job so far by this Badger defense.
He's trying that out route. And really, it's not a bad place to go with the football. I mean, you want that ball to be out in front. Pretty good placement. And now, if I'm the defense of Wisconsin, I'm finding David Johnson, running back, and you better stay with him.
3rd down and 10. To the left side. Catch is made and a 1st down. To the 37-yard line. A high throw, but LeMaster got it 12 yards and moved the chains.
And that was just a tendency buster. I mean, you haven't seen that play call today. LeMaster doing a nice job just settling in, working for his quarterback, giving him his numbers, as we like to say, providing a big target. Nice throw.
On 1st down and movement up front. Somebody got started early on the right side of that offensive line.
Ball starts, number 55, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still, 1st down.
That's Kruger. Bingaman also left early, and they had their choice as to who was going to go.
Well, you're going to see it's a left guard. He just did a little flinch right there. And the reason he got a little antsy is because he saw Borland and those guys coming with the pressure.
Only their 2nd penalty today, though. In this atmosphere,
that's impressive. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
1st down and 15 from the 32. Cole-Morgan throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Wes Smith. Chris Borland had the coverage, and it's 2nd and 15. Well, the Badgers have won 32 straight non-conference games, the 2nd longest streak in the FBS. They've won 16 straight games here at home. It's the 2nd best streak in the country. The Panthers are trying to be the streak breaker.
Well, they're giving them all they can handle. And doing it with nice play selection, moving around. Got trips on the front side. Backside coverage, one-on-one isolation.
2nd and 15 from the 32. Cole Morgan sets up, nobody open. Now he'll throw to the left side. Great catch made by Sinkfield at midfield, and a first down for Northern Iowa. Unbelievable catch by the senior.
We're talking about working for your quarterback. Sinkfield knows that every throw is not going to be spot on, but good job of extending the play by Cole Morgan. But look at that stretch and reach.
Flags are down, and buried in the backfield is Bo Allen. Snows under Carlos Anderson. They were trying to go hurry up, and somebody was moving early. And that'll cost Northern Iowa, although Brett Bielema will have the opportunity to decline that penalty, I believe, Chris. And if he wants to, he can take the result of the play, which was about a 3-yard loss.
He is weighing his options.
Illegal motion on the offense. Penalties decline. 2nd out.
Now 2nd and 13 as opposed to 1st and 15. Not sure anybody here expected this kind of drama in this season opener.
And really, the explosion in the second half by this offense.
2nd and 13. Cole Morgan to the left side, and a little too tall this time for Terrell Sinkfield, although you have to hold your breath because half the time now you expect those guys to somehow leap up and make that play.
Well, he's shown if it's in the same area code, he's going to go get it. But I like what they're doing. They're taking their time. They understand what's working against this defense. They're seeing a lot of zone, so they're just trying to find the matchup, picking the holes, and letting the receivers go work.
3rd down and 13. 7th play of the drive. All plays have been passes. Another pass here. Throws it short to Vereen. Kevin Vereen to the 45 and leans forward close to but not at the sticks. They'll mark him at the 41. He's 1 yard short. Darius Hillary on the stop. 4th down and a yard. 3:15 to play. Panthers down by 5.
And if you're Wisconsin and the defensive coordinator, Coach Ash, the growing concern is that you have guys misaligned and out of position. I mean, wide receivers are wide open. No one's in phase to make plays, which is allowing this offense to continue to chunk out yardage.
Here's your ball game right here. Panthers 2 for 2 on 4th down. A 4th and 1 at the 41-yard line. 4-man rush. Pressure comes. Pass is tipped. Incomplete. And Wisconsin turns the Panthers away. Four-man pressure was enough to thwart the 4th down play, and the pass deflected and falling to the turf.
Well, sometimes it's just one-on-one blocking. You got to beat your guy, and Herring did it on that play, coming right up the gut, able to hurry the throw.
Looked like Ethan Hemer, the junior, got a hand on it and knocked it away.
Yeah, good pressure by Herring, even better play by Hemer.
On 1st down, Wisconsin tried to run it out, getting into the secondary, Monte Ball, and he's at the Panther 46-yard line before Garrett Scott could make the stop.
They have a player down here. Slow to get up.
J.J. Swain being tended to by the Panther medical staff. Wisconsin with 2:40 to go. Panthers only have one more timeout. Looks like Wisconsin's going to get out of here with the win, but it certainly wasn't easy. And you look at Hemer after that play a moment ago, making the biggest play of the season so far for this Wisconsin defense.
Well, their front four, they're big guys that can move. I mean, you look at Allen, he's 335. Hemer's 300, 319, somewhere in that range. You need big physical guys that can run. And I'm glad to see Swain get up because he's played a pretty good ball game, helping to keep Northern Iowa in this one.
Ball now over 100 yards on the day.
you're Coach Bielema, though, you're learning a lot about your team, though. I mean, dealing with some adversity. We knew that they blew out a lot of teams last year, so you don't learn a lot about your guys. You learn about them when they're dealing with adversity. They're having to be resilient, and particularly how they rally around a first-year quarterback here at Wisconsin.
From the 46-yard line, first down and 10. Ball the carry. Monte Ball fighting for extra yardage down to the 41. A good tough 5 yards for Ball. Cutcomp and Wellington in there on the stop. Following the game, catch up on all of today's action with recaps and analysis on the State Farm postgame show. How about a weapon like Monte Ball when you need to run out the clock in a game? You've got a guy like that you can just turn to and say, finish this off for us.
And as we saw there, one of his best traits is his balance. And he does not go down, usually never goes down upon initial contact.
Second down and 5 from the 31-yard line. Ball to the 40, gain of 1. Now it's time for the John Deere Gator Game Changer, and pretty good guy to pick right there, Ethan Hemer. This is the game changer.
Yeah, look at him get good push. I mean, he just bull rushes back to the quarterback, gets the hand up. I mean, that's exactly what you teach. Get deep and shoot your hands up. And when you're 6'6", that's great length to make a deflection.
Ball at the 40-yard line, third down and 4. Clock running now, 40 seconds to go. And there's Ball again. And Ball breaks the tackle and gets the first down. Outstanding after contact. Monte Ball moves the chains, and that'll ice it for Wisconsin.
And we talked about earlier how he has a physicality in his run game. He's not just a guy that's looking to get to the perimeter and the edge. You know, he can get the tough yardage. He can push the pile. Just a tremendously versatile running back.
Well, don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the State Farm post-game show. And that is seconds away right now as Wisconsin is going to survive a scare at home today. Tip your cap to Northern Iowa. What a job they did in the second half. They put a scare into the number 12 team in the nation, but Wisconsin hangs on 26-21. And that man, Mark Farley's got a heck of a football team.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not big on moral victories, but this is a confidence builder for Northern Iowa because they came in and went toe-to-toe, battled back against Wisconsin.
Guessing they're noticing this in Iowa City. The Hawkeyes have Northern Iowa in 2 weeks. Wisconsin hangs on to win it 26-21. Back with more
coming up in just a bit. We've been talking